Obviously, thinking about our season, we got off to basically a slow start, and then we had the hiccup with the weather when we were scheduled to play LaGrange, and that set us back another week in terms of being able to compete. Obviously, coming off a win this past weekend against a really stout Methodist University team, that gave us a little bit more feedback about who we are as a football team, and basically reinforced our what we've been doing are the right things. In terms of the league, looking at it, had an opportunity to really evaluate every team because you're just worried about each week and taking it 1 week at a time. But it sounds like, or appears to be, that there's some parity out there in terms of each team in the league and how the games are turning out on Saturday afternoon. So I think it's going to be an exciting down the stretch finish. I think there's teams out there that are getting better every week, and then there's obviously some of the top teams that are playing well. So just looking forward to it, to be honest with you.
So far, the season for the Ferrum Panthers, it's been a tough one. Coming into the season, our non-conference games were extremely tough. We opened the season up with Emory and Henry, who was top of the ODAC. Then we had Shenandoah, which that game kind of slipped away from us. And then we had a very talented Hampton-Sydney team come in. And so we played some good football teams, that's for sure. We got our first win against Greensboro, which we needed, our team needed, and then we just got finished with Huntington, and our team learned a lot in that game. That it's a four-quarter game, and when you play good football teams that's been in big games like Huntington has, they're going to come out in the second half and prove the tie at halftime was something that should not have existed for them, and that was their mindset. Moving forward in the season, looking forward to it. All our conference games are right on top of us. We travel to Maryville. We're excited about that trip. It'll be our first true away overnight trip, so that our players always like to do that. Maryville will be their homecoming. And then we get the rest of the conference, and right now the conference looks very balanced across the board. I think anyone can beat anyone, it looks like. So, you know, the way the conference is going to shake out is going to come down to week 10. And I think everyone has one loss except for Averett and Huntington. So we're looking forward to finish the season strong.
Number one is we've got a very exciting football team, tremendous character, and a great core group of young people that are competing every day. Certainly not where we want to be in the record books at this point in time, but feel really good about the last 5 games going in, and like our chances in every ball game.
Well, we're about halfway through here. Team is 4-1, 2-0 in the league. Very happy to be 2-0 in the league. Got a long way to go yet, and still got a lot of things that we're trying to improve on, and things that we got to get cleaned up if we want to achieve what our goals were at the beginning. A lot of good coaches in this league, a lot of good players in this league, and a lot of good teams in this league. So trying to keep the guys focused on getting ready one day at a time, taking everything one game at a time, and if we can do that, then hopefully we'll have a chance to continue to improve and get better and reach our potential as a football team.
An exciting start to the 2015 season. We've definitely had some crazy games in the beginning, close games, games we feel like we probably should have won if we had limited a few mistakes that we made. We've also had a hurricane run through the South Carolina, North Carolina area that took away our Averett game, and hopefully we'll get to make that up in the end of the year. And then this past week for homecoming, we had an opportunity to play Greensboro, and just like last year, went down to the wire with Greensboro last year, and then this year we also took them down to the wire. So It's been a crazy start to the 2015 season, but we look forward to finishing out the conference and more so getting the top-ranked team in the conference in here this week for a night game. So it's going to be an interesting finish. We'll see.
We've had a pretty successful start out of conference. We couldn't ask for much more than what we had. Our first game versus Berry, we were a little sloppy, but then we, put some things together toward the end. The next game was a great experience for our kids, beating ETSU, a 1AA program that's just starting this year. And then we went to Emory and Henry, a very tough ODAC opponent, and I played really good in all three phases and got another win. Starting into conference play, we've really kind of hit a wall, and I think that our youth is starting to show. We've got to mature as a football team. We've got to continue to focus on the process and getting better every single day.
"2015 has brought, a typical USA South Conference race. I think that, there are a lot of teams still in the mix. I think that there's no one front runner, although there are a couple teams that are starting to separate themselves statistically and based on tradition. And so, my thoughts on the season thus far is it's going to be a wide open second half of the season with 5 games left. And, I have reason to believe that whoever it is that wins the USA South Championship this year is going to at least be a second to third round team this year. And I think people underestimate our conference based on all of our records. Moving ahead, talking about what lies ahead and, my thoughts moving forward, I'd like to talk about, the teams that we have to face here at Methodist University. I know that North Carolina Wesleyan and Coach Ski, he's a great mind. He's one of the best adjusters in the conference. I know that they play a physical, lights-out defense. So that's one of the teams we have to play upcoming, and they're a great fundamental team. After that, we play Huntington College, and Coach Turk and his staff are the pioneers of the conference, really. I mean, they've set a tone. They have an identity. Offensively, they're going to put up major top 10 in the country yards. And defensively, they're going to have a scheme that's going to be able to keep up with their offense. I think they're going to make a great second half of the season run. I think Coach Harper at Ferrum is the best in the business at triple option. There's not a sleepless night defensively that you're ever going to have, because he is by far the best in the business, and I'd say he's one of the best coaches in the Southeast at the triple option in Division III. Defensively, obviously, they're coming on, and they're going to be a tough test. Coach Young in Greensboro College. Coach Young is by far one of the best motivators I've seen in the conference as far as a coach. I think that he does a better job than anyone of getting his players to play not only hard and tough, but fundamentally sound. And him and his staff do a great job up there, and I know that those guys will be ready to play. We finished the season with LaGrange College, and all we hear about is Hell Mummy in this air raid, but I think that the most underrated guy in this whole country running the air raid is Matt Mummy. He's an unbelievable adjuster. He's got an unbelievable staff, and he does a great job. And so there's a lot of different identities moving forward. As far as Methodist University, I have confidence that I have a very good staff, and I would consider any one of our wins for the final 5 games, I would consider them upsets, being that we're going against such great coaches and such great teams.
Certainly, as the season has progressed thus far, we're 1-4, and as far as the wins and losses, we're not where we want to be. Coming off a big win against Maryville last week, I think we can build on some momentum for the last drive of the final 5 games of the season in conference. And certainly we did a lot of good things on Saturday, a lot of things hopefully to progress into the future.